Hello to all my story lovers. Welcome back in Storytime channel. Today's story name is A Sibling Story. This is a story written by the great Sudhamurti. Before go to the story, please like, share and subscribe. Now let's go to the story. One day, the king of Avanti was traveling on horseback and decided to take a break after hours of riding. He sat on a big stone that lay on the side of the road and took out his bottle of water to drink. Suddenly, his eyes fell on a stone under his feet. It was in the shape of snake and was red in color. It fascinated him because he had never seen anything like it. This looks precious and unique, he thought. He picked it up and brought it back to the palace. Once he was home, he gave it to his wife and told her to keep it safe. The next day, he told the queen to open the box that had the stone. To their surprise, a handsome prince with a beautiful turban came out of the box. There was a big red jewel on top of his turban. The queen, shocked and bewildered, asked, "Who are you and why are you here?" The prince smiled. "Do not ask me questions. Your Highness, tell me what you want done and I will make sure it happens." The king hesitated. However, the queen did not. She said, "There is a rich Asura that lives near a mountain in our kingdom. He is the cause of lot of troubles to our subjects, and though we have tried, it seems to be impossible to kill him. Prince, if you can help with this, I will be grateful." "Give me a horse and a sword," said the prince. "That is more than enough. I can manage the rest." The king agreed, but also insisted on sending a few soldiers with him. When the group reached the bottom of the mountain, the Asura appeared, ready to fight. The prince fought him alone, and within a few minutes he managed to slay the terrible Asura. Within hours, the prince and the troop were back in the king's palace. The prince was humble about his victory, but the soldiers accompanying him described the sequence of the events and his extraordinary valor. A month passed, and soon the soldiers from a neighboring land invaded the kingdom. The prince said to the king, "Don't worry, sir, I will take care of this problem." Alone he fought them all and defeated the enemy. With that, the news about the brave prince spread to the different lands, and nobody dared to invade the kingdom again. In the meantime, the king had a beautiful daughter who had fallen in love with the prince. She shared her desire to marry him, but the king refused. He said, "No, my child, the prince is handsome and a great warrior, but we know very little about him. How can I give my daughter to an unknown prince?" The princess insisted, "But father, I refuse to marry anyone else." Time passed, and the king realized that his daughter would not change her mind. He gave up and arranged for the wedding of the couple with the prince's consent. One day there was a festival in the kingdom. All the brides wore their best clothing and the finest jewelry and gathered in the palace. The bride said, "My mother-in-law has sent me with this sari." Another one said, "I got this bangle from my husband's sister." Suddenly the princess felt sad. Everything she had or was wearing was given by her father or mother. She hadn't received a gift from her husband or his parents. She felt so insecure at this sudden discovery that she became disheartened and sad. That night she asked her husband, "Tell me more about yourself. Where are your parents? Do you have any siblings? I would love to meet them. I want to show everyone that you have a family that cares about us. The prince smiled and said, "Don't ask me these questions, leave things as they are." But she didn't. The princess haunted him day and night. One day the couple went for a picnic near the river. The princess went into the water and all of a sudden was in a terrible mood. She turned to the prince with a determined look in her eyes and threatened, "Tell me who your parents are, otherwise I will drown myself." The prince, tired of her questioning, said, "You don't need to die, and I cannot answer your question." He jumped into the water and drowned himself. The turban, along with the red jewel, disappeared somewhere under the water. The princess was shocked. She burst out crying. He had never told her who he was, and her stubbornness had gotten in her own way. She felt stupid at her silly actions that had caused her to lose her husband. For the next few months, she neither ate nor slept properly. A friend who lived near the same river came to visit her one day and said, "Princess, I had very interesting experience yesterday. I still don't know for certain whether it was a dream or it was me being half asleep as I rested in my garden at home. It was quite warm outside in the evening when I saw a snake coming out of the river. It drew a big circle on the ground and transformed into a man. Many other snakes followed suit and took the form of humans. Then some of them laid a carpet on the floor, and finally a king and a prince arrived with their entourage. The prince had a red stone on his majestic turban, but he looked very pale. I couldn't see clearly, but he reminded me of your husband." The man and the woman began talking to each other. One of the women said the prince had to stay on the earth for some time as punishment because he lost his stone, but since he has returned from land, he is unhappy. In fact, he is downright miserable. Even his beloved sister Maya hasn't been able to cheer him up. "Why doesn't he go back there?" someone else suggested. "He can't go on his own. Someone has to pull him out from the circle." This discussion died down. They all danced and partied for some time, and then they changed back into snakes and returned to the river. The dream made the princess realize that her husband was the prince of serpents who lived underwater. She decided to go with her friend to same location the next day. Once the prince had reached that spot, she hid behind a bush and waited to see if the snakes would appear again. Soon enough, the snakes appeared with their king and the prince, turned into men and women, and the party began in the marked circle. The prince, her husband, stood all alone in one corner. He was near her. The princess saw her chance and pulled him out of the circle with a sudden jerk of her hand. The music stopped. The merry dance stopped. Everyone stared at her. The prince smiled at her with love. The princess bowed low to the king of the serpents. "Sir, please excuse me. I love my husband, and I know that it was wrong on my part to insist on learning about his background. He was unable to tell me the truth, but I know everything now. My husband loves me a lot, and that's why he was been dejected since his return. Please, I argue you, allow us to live happily and in peace. As a mark of respect and love for your gesture, we will celebrate a festival in your honor for 2 days and feed you and your subjects milk. We will call you Naga Devata, and you will be equal to the statues of a god." "No," cried Maya. "You can't take my brother to the land of humans, but he can always come to visit you, said the princess. The prince shook his head. No, it's not allowed, said Maya. If he goes back, he will lose the citizenship of our kingdom. My brother and I are very close and we are always there for each other. I can't let him go to your land forever. The king, however, smiled with the wave of his hand. He silenced Maya. He said to the princess, My dear girl, I appreciate your courage and your true love for the prince. Had you failed in your attempt to get your husband back, you would have had difficult life ahead. As an exception, I will allow my son to be the subject of the both kingdom as long as he continues to serve wherever he is. He can visit us whenever he needs us. You have one husband with I have many children. I will manage to run the kingdom. May God bless you. The princess thanked the king profusely and turned to Maya. You can come and visit your brother whenever you want. It will be wonderful to have you with us. I have much work to do there. But I will come and see my brother for 2 days every year, said Maya, smiling at her. Thus the prince went back to land and stayed with her princess. Together they led a long and happy life. From that day, days a year in the rainy season are dedicated to the worship of snakes. This festival is known as Naga Panchami and it is a custom for sisters to visit their brothers' home during this time. This is the end of the story. Do you like it? Then comment it and subscribe our channel. Bye bye.